workout of level 3 for Strive to Thrive. For today's workout, once again, all you'll need is your chair and a set of weights. Other than that, you just need some room to move around. Today's format is going to be a little bit different. It's what I call a 3-2-1 format. So what that means is we've got 3 minutes of kind of big compound exercises where we're doing a couple exercises within one movement, and then we've got 2 minutes of more auxiliary type lifts where we're working a little bit of the smaller muscles, and then we've got 1 minute that either focuses on more kind of core and balance. So we've got 2 circuits of the 3-2-1. We're just going through it one time. We'll warm up first, and then I'll explain our first exercises. All right, to start our warm up, let's start out just marching in place with some arm swings. Standing up nice and tall, picking up those feet, looking straight ahead. Now from here, bring those knees a little higher and do some forward arm circles. Okay, next up, kick the heels back and cross the arms out in front, alternating which arm is on top each time. Okay, from here, you're just going to kick one leg out and reach towards the opposite toe. Okay, next up, get your feet about hip width apart. Bring the hands just kind of to the side of your head. All you're going to do is push the hips back, hinging at the hips, bend down slightly, stand back up. Just work through that, feeling a gentle pull in the back of the legs. One more. All right, great job. Next up, we're just going to take 3 steps to one side and 3 steps back. So just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Keep working through that. Just getting some lateral movement in for our warm up. Last ones. All right, good. This next one you'll probably want to hold onto the chair or be behind it or anything like that. We're going to warm up the hips some. So what you're going to do is start out with a hip opener. So you're going to bring one leg up, out, and down, and then the other leg. So you're just working through a range of motion this way. You don't have to bring the knee too high up. If you have any hip issues, just keep it low, but just try to warm up those hips by bringing it up in front, out to the side, and then down. Okay, now from here, we're going the opposite. So we're going out to in. So out to the side, in front, down, out to the side, in front, down. So some hip closers now. Same thing as last time. If you don't feel comfortable going too high, then you can keep it lower. Just work through a comfortable range of motion for you. All right, shake it out a little. Next up, you're just going to twist side to side, pivoting on that back foot and letting your eyes follow wherever your head is going. Warming up our torso. And finally, bring the arms back and in front of your body, kind of give yourself a hug, open up, warming up the chest and the back. and relax. Now that we're warmed up, let's get started with the first exercise. So you'll need your weights for this one, but as always, you can do the exercises without weights if for any reason you don't feel comfortable using the weights. So I'll show you the first exercise and then we'll get started. What we're going to be doing is a squat with a shoulder press. So your feet will be hip width apart. You're going to sit down into that squat, and as you stand up, press the weights up and together. So that's the squat with the press. Now a couple of options. You can make it a sit to stand with a shoulder press, so you're just standing up here and pressing those weights up together overhead. Or you can just do a squat and not use the weights but still bring your arms up. So you got some options, but I do want you to realize we will be doing this exercise for 1 minute, which can seem like a long time when you're exercising. So if at any point you need to adjust and modify to a different variation of the exercise, you're more than welcome to do so. So go ahead and grab your weights. Let's get started. So our feet are hip width apart and begin. So squat down, and as you stand up, arms come up. As you press the arms up, you're exhaling through your mouth. On that squat, you want to make sure that you push those hips back. If you look down when you're squatting, your knees should be behind your toes. If you start to feel tired during the exercise, I would encourage you to get near the chair so you can hold onto the chair. You can always set the weights down, not use the arms, and hold onto the chair while you just perform a regular squat. A lot of options here. Remember, this is your workout. Tailor it to what you need and what's best for you. We're almost there. Stay with me just a little longer. Five more seconds. Can you get one more rep in? And stop. Okay, you made it through the first minute of 3 minutes. So now only 2 minutes left, and then we move on. So this next exercise, what you're going to do, a hip hinge, where you're just pushing those hips back and bending at the hips. So that's the first part. When you're down in that position, you're going to do a row. Stand up, bend down, and row. So that's a full exercise. A few modifications will include just doing the row portion in a seated position. So you're here, not using the legs. You can also go behind your chair without the weights, holding on if you need to, and just focus on that hip hinge. One way to really get good at the hip hinge is to actually go up against a wall. You're not right next to the wall, but maybe a foot away or so. Think about pushing your hips back to touch the wall with your butt, stand up, and then just do that. So if you really don't feel comfortable with the hip hinge action, it is a very important action to do. Just that translates to our everyday life. I would encourage you to just practice the hip hinge portion, and when you bend down, you should really feel a gentle pull in those hamstrings. So those are your few modifications there. Once again, we're going for 1 minute. So grab your weights if you're using them. Feet are about hip width apart, maybe just inside. Shoulders are down and back. And let's begin. Push the hips back, row, bring the arms down, and stand up. And as you go into that hip hinge, think about trying to keep your chest up rather than arching your back. If you arch your back, you're not going to feel it in the hamstrings as much. So you want to keep that chest forward even as you bend down. When you do that row, you're squeezing the shoulder blades together. You're still remembering to breathe. And also, as you're pulling those weights up, try not to shrug your shoulders, as tempting as it may be. You're doing great. Stay with me. You can always set the weights down and just go through the motion without the weights if you need to at any point as well. It's just a slight bend in the knees. 5 more seconds. And stop. Okay, great job with that one. Our last minute exercise for circuit 1 is going to be a sumo squat with an upright row. So once again, I'll show you the exercise and the modifications, and then we'll do it together. So in the sumo squat, your feet are wider than hip width, your toes are slightly pointed outward, just so your knees track with your toes. What you're going to do is your hands are going to be together, palms are facing you, you're going to squat down, and this time as you stand up, you pull the weights up towards your chin. Notice my elbows come out to the side on this one, but I'm not shrugging my shoulders. This can be kind of a complex motion, and it might be a little painful if you have any shoulder issues. So if you feel like you're shrugging your shoulders, I'd encourage you to do it without any weight. Bring your feet out wide and just go through the motion. It's still going to work those back muscles and the shoulders. And the other option, you can do it behind your chair. You can kind of just do alternating arms, one arm, if you feel like you need to hold on. So there's your options. We're gonna go ahead, grab those weights, 1 more minute, and then we'll move on to some different exercises. So get those feet out pretty wide. You might have to adjust how it feels. This is why it's usually good to be behind your chair just in case. Relax the shoulders, bring the hands in front, and begin. Squat down, upright row. Pull the weights towards your chin. Elbows come out, but the shoulders stay down. Think about still pushing those hips back, so the weight's more on the heels rather than on your toes. If the weights get too heavy, you can always set them down. And once again, go through the motion this way and just practice. Get a feel for it. If you feel any pain in the shoulders, this is probably a safer bet. And if that still hurts, then you might just want to stick with the sumo squats and take the shoulders out of it. Okay, keep working. We're not done yet. Like I said, a minute's a long time, but we're almost there. 10 more seconds. We got 3, 2, 1, and relax. Okay, set those weights down. Shake it out a little. You probably felt that up here. That's kind of the area those upright rows are working, so that's to be expected. If you need a drink, now's a good time to get a drink while I explain what's next. So now we're into our 2 minutes. This one is working our smaller muscle groups. So for this one, we've got 4 exercises that we're doing each for 30 seconds. The first exercise is going to be the one where we bring our leg out to the side to work the hips. Toes stay pointed forward rather than out to the side this way. So our first exercise is going to be the right leg. Second exercise will be the left leg. Then from there, we'll grab our weights and do some bicep curls. So palms will be facing up, just regular bicep curls, nothing fancy about that. The last exercise will be tricep kickback. So that's when you're going to bend slightly over. Keep your elbows at your side with your palms facing in. You'll pull the elbows up, and then you're just going to kick back and extend the arms back. While you do so, really focusing on squeezing the tricep muscle. So there's our 4 exercises. This time, you just have to do them for 30 seconds each. You're welcome. Okay, and I would encourage you for the first exercises for the hip abduction coming out to the side to probably stand behind a chair just for balance. Okay, let's get ready and begin. So bring that leg out to the side. You want to think about standing nice and tall. Pull your toes up towards your shin and keep the toes pointed forward rather than up towards the ceiling. You'll likely feel it in the hip that's working and also the hip that's stabilizing, because those muscles do act as stabilizing muscles of the hip. And stop. Okay, shake it out real quick, and then we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So shift the weight to the right and begin. Pull the toes up, keep the leg pointed forward. Trying not to lean with your body, just standing up tall, holding on if you need it. Even if it's just a couple of fingers, usually that support helps so you're not, flopping all over the place during the exercise. And stop. Okay, once again, shake it out a little if you need to. And then go ahead and grab your weights for our bicep curls. As always, you can do the exercises without weights as well, or you can also do it in a seated position if you need to. All right, let's go ahead and begin. Curl up all the way and come all the way down. Elbows stay close to your sides. Slow and controlled, especially bringing the weight down. We're doing the work rather than gravity. Three, 2, 1, and stop. Okay, great job there. One more of this series. Last one is our tricep kickback. So your feet are just kind of a comfortable distance for you apart. Just bend over slightly. Pull those elbows up and let's begin. Just kick straight back, looking slightly in front of your feet. You just want that head to be neutral. So if you're more bent over, you'll be looking closer to your feet. If you're a little bit more upright to ease some tension in your low back, then you'll be looking further in front of you. You really want to focus on that extension back rather than bringing it forward as much. We're not as concerned with that. Last one, and stop. Okay, and set your weights down. Again, shake it out if you need to. Now, we've got one more exercise for our first circuit. This one, a weight is optional. It's more of a core exercise, but it does have an aspect of balance. So if you want to use a weight, you can, but you don't have to. This one is going to be a low to high wood chop. So there's a couple of options. The traditional wood chop, it comes from the hip, and then you're going to rotate up to the left. So that's one option. If you want to make it a little more challenging, you can actually bend your knees, bring it down from the knees, and then stand up and bring it up to the left. So that's going to be more challenging. It's obviously going to work your legs a little more as well. For this one, it's 1 minute, so we'll do 30 seconds on each side. Let's go ahead and begin. So if you're starting at the hip, it's just coming up here. You're more upright with your positioning. Your eyes can almost kind of just follow that dumbbell. You're rotating. And if you're doing it from the knees, you're squatting down a little more, pushing those hips back. The knees stay behind the toes. Either option works. You should feel this all throughout your core. And stop. Okay, last side. Then we'll go to our second circuit with some different exercises. Let's begin. Again, either from the left hip up to the right, like so, or to make it more challenging, bend the knees, bring it down from the knees, up to the right, and stop. Great job with the first circuit. We've got one more circuit with the same format but different exercises. So grab a drink if you need it, and I'll explain what's next. So for the first exercise of our 3 minutes, this one, you're going to be sitting in your chair. You'll sit towards the front of the chair. You're going to lean back. Your feet will be flat. We'll do an incline chest press, but it's going to be alternating arms. So you'll bring the arms out, press them up, and then it's going to be one arm down and then the other. So just switching sides. The weights will be above your chest as you do so. So go ahead and sit down. Let's lean back, bring the weights up, and begin. If you don't feel comfortable doing this with weights, if you don't feel like you're comfortable holding on to them or just bringing them up above your head like this, as always, do it without weights, just work through the motion. So one arm stays straight up while the other arm is working. As you press the weight up, think about exhaling through your mouth, looking more up towards the ceiling. Your feet are flat on the floor. You're doing awesome. Keep working. You should be feeling this in your chest, then the shoulders some. We got about 10 more seconds. Stay with me. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, bring those weights down and relax. Nice job with that first exercise. The next exercise will be standing up. You're going to be in a split stance position, which just means one foot will be out more in front of the other, but they'll both be about hip width apart. So for this one, it'll be 30 seconds with each leg in front. You're going to have the weight mostly shifted towards the front leg, slightly bent over. You're going to turn the palms forward and row up this way. So this will be working a little bit more of these back muscles on the side here. If you don't feel comfortable using the weights or the balance is a little bit of a struggle, what you can do is just have whichever leg is in front. You can hold on and then just row with that arm, either with or without weight, but that way you can hold on onto the chair with the same leg that's in back. So that is an option as well. Like I said, it'll be 30 seconds for each leg in front. Okay, so I'm starting with my right leg in front. The weight's mostly on the right leg. I'm kind of on my toes on the left foot. Let's lean forward, just slightly. Turn the palms forward and row. The arms stay close to your side still, looking slightly in front of you so that neck maintains a neutral position. Still think about having a tennis ball between your shoulder blades. And as you pull back, you're squeezing that tennis ball. Almost done on this side. Last one. Okay, go ahead and stop. Let's bring it to the other side. So left foot in front now. Again, if you're holding onto that chair, switch sides and work that left side. So weights shifted towards the left foot, up on the toes of the right foot. Bend down slightly and let's row. Palms forward. Squeeze that tennis ball that's between your shoulder blades. That's really going to work those upper back muscles that are really important for posture. Last one, and stop. Okay, great job there. We've got one more exercise that we've got for our 3 minutes. This one, you can start out sitting down. And as always, you can use weights if you'd like. You can use 2 weights, 1 weight, or no weight. I'll show you what we're doing, and then I'll let you decide. So for this one, if you're using weights, you can hold them at your chest. If you're using 1 weight, you can kind of just hold the ends. What you're going to do, with your feet flat, you're going to stand up, step out, out, in, and sit down. Okay? So if you don't feel comfortable doing it with weights, if you need to use the armrest, set those weights down and do it without weight. Let's begin. So stand up, step out, out, in, and sit down. Making sure you sit in the seat. If the stepping out doesn't feel comfortable for you either, you can just stick with the sit to stands. Make sure you sit down slowly. You don't just plop down in your chair. You're doing great. Those legs might be burning, but we're over halfway. You got this. Take your time. Just think about how much easier sitting up from a chair is when you're not holding any weights and you're not tired from a workout. And go ahead and finish that when you're on and relax. Awesome job. You made it through the second 3 minutes. Now we're under our 2 minutes. Grab a quick drink if you need it, and then you can stand up for our next exercises. So for this one, the first 2 exercises, it's kind of like the last circuit. It's the same exercise just on different sides. You can use weights or you can do a body weight. You're going to step back with 1 foot. We're just going to do a static lunge for 30 seconds. So it's just going to be going straight down and standing up. Now if you feel more comfortable balance-wise, I would definitely encourage you to hold onto your chair, step back, and do your lunges Just make sure whatever you're doing, you step back far enough so that you're going straight down rather than coming forward and bringing this front knee over those toes. If you want to use weight, you can just hold the weights at your side as you lunge. Okay, let's get ready. Step back and lunge. Again, the weights are optional. I'd much rather you not use weights and hold on if you feel more comfortable that way. If you have any knee issues, still make sure you step back far enough. That'll protect your knee more actually. Just don't go as low. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's go for one more. Okay, bring that foot forward. Now the left foot back, big step back. Relax those shoulders. Make sure your toes are pointed forward and begin. Lunge straight down, keeping that body upright. Keep breathing. Make sure that front knee stays behind the toes. 10 seconds, you're almost there. Burns so good. And stop. Okay, great job. Shake it out if you need to. The next two exercises are more focused on the smaller muscles in our upper body. So the first one might work your brain a little too. It's going to be an L raise. So one arm is bringing the weight out to the side and one arm is coming out in front. You'll come down and then you'll switch. So you lift them up at the same time. Depending on the weight you're using or any shoulder injuries or limitations you might have, this might be challenging and kind of bother your shoulders. So if that's the case, just do it without weights. Go through the motions. Usually when we bring the hands away from our body, it stresses the shoulders a little bit more. Okay, relax the shoulders. Let's give it a try. One hand comes out in front, one out to the side. Think about making an L. Slowly and controlled, bringing it up just to shoulder height and then back down. And if you need to, do it without weights. Same thing, nice and slow and controlled. Even this will work your shoulders still. And stop. Okay, shake it out a little. One more exercise for our 2-minute series. We got our 1 minute and then we'll do our cool down. So for this last one, you're going to be slightly bent over, feet are just that comfortable stance, and all you're going to do is bring the weights out to the side and together. So we're working the back sides of the shoulders, once again with or without weights. Okay, knees are slightly bent. Bend over just a little and begin. Looking a few feet in front of you, so your neck's not looking straight down at your toes. You don't want it to be too strained or looking straight up. If you start out with weights and your shoulders start to get tired, you can set those weights down and just go through the motion. Try to keep moving for 3, 2, 1, and stop. Okay, great job. Made it through those. We got one more exercise. Now this one, you can use one weight or you don't have to use any weight. So this is once again a little bit more of a core focused exercise. Our feet are going to be together. You're going to bring the weight straight up overhead or just your arms, and all you're going to do is start in the center, lean to one side, and come back to center. So we're going to stick with one side for 30 seconds, and then we'll switch to the other side for 30 seconds. Now, if bringing your arms overhead even without weight is a little challenging, another option you can do is just have one hand on your hip and one hand straight down, either with or without weight, and just do a side bend this way. That's a little easier on the shoulders if the first option bothers your shoulders for any reason. So those are our options, weight or no weight. Okay, let's go ahead and begin. So bring the arms up, lean to one side and to center. So you can have your hands together if you're not holding weight, or apart, whatever feels comfortable. You want to make sure you're standing upright and you're not leaning forward as you do it. So think about just kind of like if your back is to a wall, you're staying against the wall the entire time, just leaning to the side. Okay, bring it to center and the other side. Keep breathing, less than 30 seconds, and then the workout portion of this session is done, and we just get our cool down exercises. You're almost there. You should be feeling this in your sides. 3, 2, 1, and stop. Okay, great job with our strength exercises today. Make sure you clear your space, and let's do our cool down exercises. Now we're going to start slowing it down and stretching out our muscles some. So to start, we'll do a few exercises standing and then we'll sit down. So first up, I just want you to slowly kick one heel back towards the opposite side as you kind of rock back and forth. If you need to, stand behind your chair. Feel free to do so. This is just kind of stretching out the quads a little bit. Good. Now from here, bring your stance to a wider stance. Toes are slightly pointed out. You're going to lean to the left, so bend the left leg, straighten the right leg, bring the right arm over towards the left, so straight. Let's start that one over. The next exercise, you're going to bring your legs out wide, toes are slightly pointed out. You're going to lean to the left, so bend the left leg, right leg is straight, stretching the inner right thigh, and then bring the right arm over and really reaching over to stretch the right side of your body as well. Okay, bring it back to center. Now bend the right leg, stretching the inner thigh on the left side, and bring the left arm over. Bring it back to center. You can walk those feet in. The next exercise is going to stretch out our hips and our T-band down the side of our legs. So get your chair so it's on the left side of you. You can be behind it or to the side. You're going to bring the right leg behind the left leg. Stick your hips out to the right. And once again, bring that right arm over. Really reaching. Feel that nice stretch in the right hips. Okay, bring it back to center. Now the other side, so the chair, or in my case the wall, will be on the right side. Left leg behind the right leg. Stick your hips out to the left. Reach that left arm over to the right. Okay, bring it back to center. Go ahead and have a seat. Start out sitting towards the front of your chair. You're going to bring the right leg out straight. Hands are on the left leg and just lean forward at the hips to feel a nice gentle stretch on the back of the right leg. Okay, go ahead and switch sides. Left leg out straight, hands on the right leg, and lean forward. And go ahead and relax. You can sit back in your chair. Now let's stretch our chest by bringing our hands out to the side, pulling back and leaning over the chair. Looking up towards the ceiling, Getting a nice stretch in the pecs or your chest, as well as the front of the shoulders. Okay, go ahead and sit up. Now, bring the right hand out with your palm away from you and gently pull back on that hand to stretch the bottom side of your forearm on the right side, making sure you keep those shoulders relaxed. Just going for a gentle pull, you shouldn't feel any tingling. And now turn that right hand down so the palm is facing you. Okay, left side, palm away from you. Pull back, shoulders relaxed. And now turn that palm towards you and pull back once again. And relax. All right, finally, we're just going to do some big reverse shoulder rolls. Roll those shoulders back. And go ahead and relax. Awesome job today. Way to work hard. I look forward to seeing you next time.